Escape from the Car Dealer, starring Curtis Arnold. Random group of men introducing the police. Produced and directed by Mr. Chips. Sponsored by Pampers Nappies, Land Rover, and Elastoplast Plasters.
We apologize to interrupt this production. Please note the sponsors are no longer the sponsors. Curtis Arnold bought all the nappies and all the plasters. Sponsors are made up for fun. Enjoy the following production.
Curtis had always been an annoying prat, and today, his curiosity had led him to a car dealership on the outskirts of Birmingham. Armed with a high-resolution camera and a zoom camera, he set out to capture footage of what he thought to be a friendly family-ran business. The dealership looked like any other from the outside. Rows of gleaming cars, the showroom lights casting long shadows across the pavement. But Curtis wanted action. He crouched behind a row of sedans, adjusting his camera to get a clear shot of the main office. Just as he focused the lens, a group of men emerged from the office, their hushed conversation turning into loud laughter. Curtis zoomed in, recognizing the face of the dealership owner. He was a man with a notorious reputation. He captured a few minutes of their interaction, which involved the exchange of thick envelopes and suspicious glances. Suddenly, a loud clunk echoed through the lot. Curtis froze. One of the men had dropped something metal, and, as they looked around, their eyes fell on Curtis's hiding spot. Curtis cursed under his breath. His cover was blown. "Hey, who's there?" one of the men shouted, his voice thick with anger. Curtis didn't wait for them to investigate. He sprang to his feet, the camera clutched tightly in his hand, and bolted toward the edge of the dealership. Behind him, he heard the roar of an engine springing to life. He glanced back to see a black Land Rover screeching around the corner. Curtis shit his pants, and panic surged through him as he darted across the street, over a fence, and into a thicket of brambles. The sharp thorns tore at his clothes and skin, but he pushed on, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The Land Rover crashed through the underbrush, and he could hear the men shouting, urging each other to catch him. Curtis's heart pounded as he reached the railway tracks, the steel rails gleaming faintly in the sunlight. He sprinted along the tracks, hoping the uneven terrain would slow his pursuers. The sound of the Land Rover grew louder, the engine sweeping across the tracks. Desperation set in. He had to find a place to hide, to regroup. Up ahead, he spotted a storage unit. He jumped on top of the unit, crouching low like a big wet baby, shitting his pants. His fingers fumbled for his phone, and he dialed 999, his hands shaking. 999. What's your emergency? The operator's voice was calm, a stark contrast to Curtis's panic. I'm being chased, he whispered, glancing nervously at the train tracks. I'm at the storage units under the bridge near the railway tracks. They're after me. Please, come quick, I'm scared. Stay on the line. Sir, officers are on their way. Can you describe your location further? Curtis provided as much detail as he could, all while listening for the footsteps or the engine that would signal his imminent discovery. Minutes felt like hours, and he could hear the men on the train tracks, their voices closing in. Spread out. He can't have gone far, one of them barked. Curtis started crying silently, like a big withering wimp, willing himself not to actually poop his pants. The men started to open containers, looking for Curtis inside them. One man walked past, just inches from big baby Curtis was hiding. The sound of distant sirens pierced the area. The men exchanged nervous glances. Curtis could hear the men's heavy breathing as they retreated. Let's get out of here, one of them muttered. Cops are coming. Curtis waited, listening as the Land Rover's engine roared to life and sped away. He didn't move until the sirens were almost on top of him, their blue lights flashing through the storage yard. Only then did he stumble off the roof, waving his arms to flag down the approaching officers. They found him, disheveled and bleeding from the brambles, shit and piss running down his leg, but safe. As he handed over his camera, Curtis knew he had captured more than just footage of a car dealership. He had filmed himself shitting himself and running from the trouble that he started in the first place. This incident shows one thing. Don't act the big man to the little people, but then actually shit your pants and leg it from the bigger people. Is this a lesson learned for Curtis? I highly doubt it, as I believe he now thinks he's a star on YouTube, even though he ran away like a gazelle from a lion.
Just remember, if you look in the face of evil, evil's gonna look right back at you.